Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukatali.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios, broadcasting on TV1, that brand new channel from the Capital Maharaja Group. And this morning, joining me is my colleague Bandula Jayasekar. Very good morning to you.
Good morning for us.
And how are you?
Yeah, nice weekend, relaxed weekend.
And we're also joined this morning by the former commander of the Army, General Daya Ratnayaka. Very good morning to you, General.
Morning there.
Lovely to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And I'd also like to say to all those viewers who have been on holiday and so on, welcome back. It's great to have you. This morning, General Daya, I want to ask you, you were in charge of the Commissioner General of Rehabilitation. What did you enjoy that?
Oh, very much. Very much.
And how successful was this thing?
One of the most successful programs, not only in Sri Lanka, but right around the world in this kind of programs. This is, I can say, not one. This is being considered as the most successful rehabilitation program so far carried out in the world. That is how other people consider it.
How do you rehabilitate a 25-year-old who has known nothing but life in the most ruthless organization called the LTT? How do you rehabilitate someone like that?
Yeah, that was a challenge. That was a challenge. And we had the advantage of being fighting with them for 30 long years. So we knew how they were recruited, how they were trained, how they were brainwashed, what their ideology, and how they trained them to be fighters. These are basically Tamils are very innocent, cultured, consider their education and religion is the most important. Such people to be transformed to be ruthless terrorists, it is not an easy task, which Prabhakaran and the crowd did. So in the same way, we turned the other way around and we transformed these most ruthless terrorists in the world to be some of the most disciplined people in the society, and we transformed them and brought them back to square one and reintegrated them into the society. That was the challenge, that was the concept we developed, that is how we implemented, that is how we manage it and achieve the success. Success today, to tell you, after 5 years of achievement, this is not easy actually. Initially we had 12,000 ex-combatants and the 2,000 women and about 700 so-called child soldiers, and the rest were male cadres. From basic cadre to the suicide cadre, the top leadership, and everybody was in this 12,000 people. Later it was increased up to about 14,000. So these people, we develop a new concept that is called 6+1 actually. So far what the world has is 6 factors considered in rehabilitation. We had this one thing, that is spiritual activity. So here we believe in the Prabhakaran's ideology, when he was practicing that and putting that into these people, one thing we really identified, what this for a human being, there are 3 main elements in your system which manage you. There's the psychological aspects, the spiritual aspects, and the vocational aspects. So what Prabhakaran and the team did, he locked the heart of the people. If your heart is locked, you can do anything. If your heart is open, you never become an extremist. Those are facts. So we thought, okay, what we did, we immediately unlocked the heart and filled that with parental values, values as a country, values being together, human values, and all that. Those values we
the spiritual was very
spiritual, and this one was put into their heart. Then they had the knowledge and understanding. They had the vocational aspect and competency. So we put they filled their hearts with different values required, and they became full-fledged human.
That must have been quite difficult because we're told that Prabhakaran didn't exactly encourage religion to come into it amongst his cadre.
So that was actually from their side, they did it, and when it came to our side, it became a plus point for us because there was nothing here. So we open it, there was a huge vacuum, void there. So we fill it with right ingredients, like So we got the right people. We got people accepted by the Tamil society, these young cadres, and they were very receptive to that. And some of those people were, I mean, I have come to know, even to date, they do meditation, things like that. They have become some of the most disciplined.
Did you get religious leaders involved in your program?
Yes, religious at the Hindu, the Sai organization, then Christian, and somewhat top people accepted in the societies. Yeah, they were. So this is not only one. Then we did a good profiling system, and we identified their talents. When we were developing this profiling system, that became a unique thing. Actually, we got a world award for that profiling system. It became a unique thing, and we identified their talents. Some of those people were not coming out well due to various suspicious thinking and blah blah blah. So they were not coming out. So what we did, we went back into their educational background, the vocational and the family background, what they're liking, what they have been doing, what their parents have been doing. All those things were taken into consideration, and we developed a proper system and asked them what do you want to be when you get into the society. So based on those choices and all that, we grouped these people into various groups and gave them proper educational training, then the vocational training, and all those things were given, and today they are worthwhile citizens in the society.
Have you seen? Sorry,
go ahead.
Now, have you seen them there reaching like higher positions, like accountants and into others, just not only masons and carpenters, but have you seen
majority actually they were not so educated to reach that level, but there were more than really about 600 to 700 people who have been doing the advanced level, and some of those people were in universities.
How many people are we talking of?
About 14,000 people.
Okay.
14,000 people. So there were those who were continuing the advanced level, those who have been in the universities, they were given this education. Some of these people have become doctors today, and some of those people may have, I have not got the details, those who were doing accounting would have become top accountants.
Have you kept in touch with any particular person, any one or two people?
Yeah, some of, I mean
he related to very emotional incidents,
and we have been monitoring it actually as a government. We have been monitoring, the intelligence services have been monitoring them, police service must be monitoring them, the civilian authority that was formed to look after these people after reintegration, those people, those organizations have been monitoring these people.
Right. What do you think of President Sirisena forgiving the person who tried to assassinate him, or the suicide card? What are your thoughts on that?
Those are, I mean, good examples. Good examples.
Can I ask you, General? This thing went on for almost 30 years, or depend which way you start. But we've had army commanders, and we've had politicians, and we've always had the war. Enter Mahinda Rajapaksa in 2005. Within 3 years, it's done. Why couldn't the others do that?
That's actually, there are no short answers to that, but the long answer, but I will try to answer it in short. Because in the past, what happened, when you want to take on a problem of this magnitude, there are three factors which affect. Thus, we call it in military terms, the conceptual component, moral component, and the physical component. If I explain it shortly, conceptual component, which includes the political leadership and the government leadership and the concept and the strategy and all those things, and the support for that, the whole conceptual component. Then the moral component means that when you have a master plan to overcome an issue of this nature, then you have to market it to the civil society and get the support of the civil society. Being a democracy, you need the support of the civilian population in the country. So convincing civilian population and getting their support is basically the moral component consists of. Then the physical component, where the army, the military, the other organization elements which get involved in fighting problem of war like this. So they had to be motivated, they had to be put into the right framework and do that. So this happened in 2005 properly. In the past, which was not there, the conceptual component, the government leadership, political leadership, they were on one direction, the masses were on another direction, and finally the military got themselves isolated, alone
and confused
in the battlefield. So one thing what we must understand, this kind of war, its final victory doesn't come in the battlefield actually. The final victory comes away from the battlefield. Whether you will win or lose, decided not in the battlefield but outside battlefield. Therefore all those things are very important. And the political vision, political courage, political thinking of this sustainable support, when the pressures coming from outside and inside, that has to be absorbed by the political leadership and must not allow that to trickle down to the military, the ground force. So these things happen.
So to make it really short, would it be fair to say that whilst the previous presidents from Jayawardena, Premadas, Kumaratunga lacked the political courage, Mahinda Rajapaksa had in abundance that courage?
I consider as a military soldier, I think it is right. They had the vision, but they did not have the courage to sustain till the end.
So on those same lines, I'm told that in at the time the ceasefire was declared, 2002, that the military were very close to achieving a settlement. Something about 32 kilometers more and so on. How did you feel when this ceasefire agreement was launched upon yourselves?
Actually, as being soldiers, we are quite we have that broad understanding about all these things. We have been a democracy for so long, and the soldier is quite a democratic, I can say the hallmark of a democracy, our military. So therefore we understand all that. So everything based on the political decisions, we have to implement it. That is how it is. We don't like individually such things. When you see something just about to overcome, and you are taken back and are certain other things being happening. So but we got to go with those things. This is the beauty of a democracy.
How ruthless did you have to be? When I say you know,
the whole army.
Army. How ruthless did you all have to be to fight the LTT and to reach the settlement that you all have now done?
Yeah, actually, but it is the word ruthlessness. I will not say it is the professionalism. It is not ruthlessness. You have to be certain. Sometime it is. I always say, soldier. Basically, whenever he has to be very soft like a flower, he has to be, and when he is tough like a rock, he has to be. So he has to work in this whole spectrum. So wherever it is required, the soldier has to do that. When he has to be tough and take decision, you have to shoot at somebody, you shoot it. You don't use your emotional heart or things like that. You use your brain and you use your brain and your ability. So that is it. So you take decisions. So that is soldier. So we develop that soldier professionally over the years.
How many children do you have?
I have 3. 2 sons and a daughter.
2 sons and a daughter.
Yeah.
So, how much of a commander were you at home?
No, I have been a father. It is we have always been 90% of our life. What we have been away from our family. So the wife, he has been.
She's the commander.
She at home. She commands everything. We just go and give support when we have to take some conceptual decisions. We get together and decide. And she has.
Or you follow instructions there from the commander.
Yes. And at home, I am kind of a.
What background is your wife from?
She has been a housewife throughout. So because of my involvement in the war, she had to restrict herself.
She became the homemaker.
And she has run the family. I am very happy today because I have 2 sons professionally qualified. They are employed, and daughter is now schooling final stage. So they are very disciplined children. I am very happy. So wife has been doing a great job. I am grateful to her and almost all the wives of military officers and soldiers.
Tell me about you've obviously seen action on the front line.
Very much.
Tell me what happens when you later realize, because I understand you can't realize this while it's happening, but when you later realize that some of these combatants that you're being faced with are actually children. What do you do?
Yeah, at that moment, I told you, when we plan a military operation, we use all elements. You use your mind, you use your heart, you use this thing, all the factors being considered. When you are implementing it, you do what you have to do at that moment of time. You don't just think.
You don't stop to look whether this kid's 10 years old or 14 years old.
No, you carry it out. You do it. That is how a soldier being trained. That is how we implement it. That is how we practice it in right place at the right time in right form.
The what's his name, Gunaratna, I think, the chap who jumped into or lobbed grenades into the
Hasalaka Gamin Kulrat.
What was that? Was that like, did they set it off and let it travel on its own? The tank.
The tank which was coming towards the camp.
No, there were people inside and they were driving.
They were driving it.
They were driving it, and this man jumped and put a grenade, and that is the only place where you can. That is how you can stop it.
Right.
Otherwise, firing did not stop it because they have developed it to sustain absorb all our oppositions.
Yeah.
And it was coming up, and this man jumped, and they are now on the top. He knows that the hole is there, and he jumped and put the grenade inside, which.
Save the camp.
Save the camp and save everything, and lost his life.
His story was featured in the Reader's Digest.
Yes. I've just come back from just
many such soldiers we have seen in action. For then when you are fighting, these things become common features.
On that note, we'll come right back to you, General Dyer. We're going to take a short commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsline. This morning we want to discuss or we want to ask the legal fraternity what's going on in a matter that is of great importance and seems to be in the news almost every day, and that is the appointment of the new Attorney General. And on the line we have Senior Attorney in President's Council, Hemanta Warnakulasuriya. Good morning to you, Hemanta. And we'd like to ask you...
Good morning, Faraz. Good morning.
Thank you. We'd like to ask you, Hemanta, what is your take on this, the appointment of the Attorney General?
Faraz, this government came into power, giving a solemn pledge to people that they will restore good governance, rule of law, democracy. Today, we are told that there are certain people lobbying to appoint a political stooge as the Attorney General. The Bar Association has been requested to give their recommendations. I spoke to Mr. Jeff Alagrathan and also Senior President's Counsel Romesh Silva, who was of the unanimous view that we must appoint the most senior law officer in the Attorney General's Department, that is Mr. Damnath, who is presently the acting Attorney General. It is my view that he must be appointed unless there is clear, not allegations, proven allegations of bribery, corruption, or any other illegal. So therefore, if the government does not appoint him, what will happen with the rule of law and the good governance that the promises that the government gave would be considered hogwash.
Hemanta, why should...
my view that, and view of the majority of the bar, that the senior most law officer must be appointed.
Hemanta, why should the Prime Minister consult the Bar Association?
The Prime Minister has said that the Bar Association will be consulted before appointing the Attorney General. I don't know for what reason the Bar Association and Jeff Alagrathan, with the President to whom I spoke to last night, and also one of the senior presidents, Mr. Romesh Silva, were of the view that Swata Kamlas must be appointed, and that's my view, and that's the view of the majority of the members. Otherwise, there be a political puppet appointed, like what happened under Mahinda Rajapaksa, where the freedom of the people was curtailed by that clown who was appointed as the Attorney General.
Thank you very much, Mr. Warnakulasuriya, for your candid remarks. and we hope to welcome you on our show another time. Well, back to you, General Daya. I want to ask you this: how much of freedom have we got in this country? Almost 69 years on.
We have got that freedom, but more to be achieved. And freedom, in my own definition, is you don't have to have too much, because the constitution of this country is given the aim of our freedom. Is the name of our country, if you say Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. That is what the entire nation is striving to achieve. So you have to see whether we have achieved that. Democracy, how democratic the country is. And if you look at the democracy in this country, and even after 67, 68 years, we carry out some of the basic mistakes in practicing democracy. So these are things that academics must study and see whether it is happening. The politicians must take these things into serious consideration. Then democracy, then socialist, how fair we are, whether we have reconciliation in this country. We are trying to achieve reconciliation. So we all communities must live in harmony together, and those proper understanding must be there in the society. Whether we have that. Then finally, whether it is really reflection of the people's power in the center. So these are the things that we go to analyze and see. If we have achieved all that, that means we have right freedom in this country.
So
right,
it's like more the politicians are enjoying the freedom, not the masses.
That one can see that way. I don't look at that way, because some people, most of us, blame the politicians. Some people, the politicians blame the professionals. The other people blame the people, blame everybody. So it is when you are confused in a society, these things happen. So it is not one of group, one of element can be blamed here. We all are to be blamed, but the weightage must be taken by the politicians and the decision makers, the professionals in this country, not putting the right framework of democracy in this country, not getting the people's power centralized in the right place.
Isn't it on those lines, and about when you say about the professionals delivering so that the country can move forward and rely on that professionalism, isn't it sad that almost 69 years into independence, we have got a presidential sibling being remanded for, in essence, for all intents and purposes, an abuse of power? But what I'm trying to say is, we've had 69 years to perfect this equitable position, and where the children of politicians are taught by their parents that they are no more special than the next man on the street. But 69 years later, we now have one chap who is being remanded, and perhaps several more to go. He is only just one now, but this has been going on. We've had people who go run riot in clubs, who don't respect the rule of law, who fight on the beaches. What's going on? Don't you think we've missed the boat in 69 years?
Yeah, these are the things that we got to put right. Actually, you can't take one element, once again I will come back to the same, and one family or one element, and you can't blame them. This is the holistic manner. When we have to fight a war, and in the past, you asked the first question, why we couldn't achieve. In the past, we have been trying to take one area by one area, the military to do something, the military. No. At the last moment in 2005, 2006, what we did, we got all elements of the country. We are called, actually in the military terms, what? Elements of national power, which include the military, the foreign ministry, education ministry, cultural ministry, everybody together you call elements of national power. How to win a war? Transform these elements of military power, the capability of these elements of power, national power, transform that to be a military capability, and getting the soldier to put it into practice at the right place, at the right form, in right quantity, like that. That is for military fighting.
Faraz, the viewer has asked a question, it
Yes.
might interest you.
Go
So,
on.
ask the general what he thinks of the army's role in hospitality with your Laya resorts. It's an interesting
Yeah,
question.
not only hospitality, repairing roads, getting involved in construction and hospital, repairing what about the religious places that we constructed, and all those are actually needs of the hour. Here, when we so here we are not professionals to run hotels, but when there is a vacuum, so the soldiers in a post-conflict scenario, soldiers will get involved and enhance the capacity of that particular branch.
But how do you give it all up when it's now we're in peacetime? How do you give it up? Can you give it up quite easily?
Yeah, now we have been giving up, and in the past, when you take the North and East, immediately after war ended, who ran the shops, who ran the hotels, who ran other commodity sales centers? It is almost 80 to 90% by the soldiers. Today, do you see one? No. We have come back to normal, and the civilian society took that over.
You're rather unusual.
Yes.
Former army commander, and you're seated in Colombo. Why aren't you in Washington, New York, Pakistan, Singapore, wherever? Why aren't you an ambassador?
Yeah, I was given that chance, and I thank the government for giving that opportunity. I was appointed the High Commissioner to Pakistan, Sri Lankan High Commissioner to Pakistan, but I politely declined it because of my personal reasons for it. And I did not want to take that. I wanted to do something else, which I am doing now.
A true patriot. General Daya Ratnakar, thank you very much for your time and for your presence on Newsline. We hope to have you on one of our other programs soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bandu, thank you very much.
Thank you,
for
Faraz.
having given up your time to be here. And out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. Thank you for watching Newsline from the brand new channel from the Capital Maharaj Group TV1. Thank you for watching. Take care. God bless.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.